50s this weekend. Mark will tell you what to expect.
We got all these people to bring together their voices and speak out against what we think is not right.
A bunch of local students were out marching today. They had something to say to the feds.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at 9.
Here we go. I'm Terrence Lee. Let's start here. Aurora had another student walkout today. Hundreds left classes. Just a few days back, there was a bigger protest. That one got chaotic. Police arrested some people. Leslie Moreno's right here. Les, the mayor's really concerned about safety.
Yeah, today's protest was much more peaceful. No altercations, no police, and definitely no arrests. The mayor says he took a different approach this time following Monday's incident.
Hundreds of students walked out of class today in protest of ICE and the recent confrontation between Aurora police and 3 teens on Monday.
They came out of nowhere and just tackled me to the ground.
15-year-old Duviel Soto from East Aurora High School says he was one of 3 students that were tackled by police during Monday's walkout. He says he had to be rushed to the hospital with bruises and head injuries.
Went unconscious for a little bit, but when they put me on facing the ground, I got a little bit I opened my eyes, and what's it called? I told them get off me because I couldn't breathe at all. I couldn't breathe. I just woke up. And then they grabbed me, they put me back in the back of the van.
Police say fights broke out and the teens had to be arrested. One of them is also accused of punching an officer. During this morning's protest, the Aurora mayor says safety has been a major challenge. This time, he opted for a no-police approach.
We had a conversation with the chief of police last night to have a withdrawn presence so they don't become the target of this. We want students to be focused on keeping ICE out of our community.
The Illinois state senator for the 25th district says she's requested a full investigation into Monday's altercation.
They are frustrated, they are scared, they're going through depression and anxiety, wondering if when they come home, if their parents are still going to be there.
The King County State's Attorney's Office says it's investigating the use of force during Monday's walkout. The mayor says he's also working on setting up a town hall to discuss safety during these protests. Terrence.
All right, thank you. Okay, so Mayor Johnson just said nope to that hemp ban ordinance today. He vetoed it. Bottom line, hemp stays on shelves in Chicago for now. But look, there's a federal ban coming later this year, so this is not over. The mayor even sent a letter to City Council about that. He basically said, let's just wait and see what the feds decide before Chicago makes any moves. It is February, but it is giving straight up spring outside. I see you, Chicago. Good. Mark Strell, what you got for us?
Well, I got temperatures in the 50s. 50s, okay. I think you're going to like. And we had 50s today. This is a look at our daytime high temperatures today. 53 at the lakefront, 54 degrees at both of the airports. As you can see on the map here, it says 54 degrees in Woodstock and 56 degrees right today in DeKalb. So it was mild today, and it's going to continue to be mild as we go through the day tomorrow and through the weekend with more 50s. I think we could even hit a 60-degree reading around the area here coming up over the next couple of days. Satellite and radar, not a whole lot happening here. It's pretty quiet at the moment. We do have a few clouds streaming in, but it should be a fairly pleasant night tonight, and temperatures even now are holding on to some mild conditions. 42 at the lakefront, 43 at the airports. One little chilly spot way up there in Winnebago County right now. Rockford at 28 degrees, but look what's happening right next door. DeKalb 37, 36 in Woodstock, and 40 degrees just down Interstate 39 in LaSalle, Peru. So mild temperatures for the most part overnight tonight, and the warmth continues to roll on.
All right, Mark, thank you. You got to check this out. This video is wild. The moment that guy fell in the Chicago River, people did not hesitate. Everyone moved fast. Shout out to Citizen App for that video you saw. Chicago Fire Department showed up fast with the boat, but they weren't playing around. But it really was a tour boat that really came through and got him. He fell in from the Michigan Avenue Bridge right downtown. The company said their crew and some passengers helped pull him out of the water. He wasn't responding at first. Had to be scary. That's when one passenger who knew what to do stepped up, started doing CPR on him. And they brought him back right there on the boat. He ended up going to the hospital.
It is heroic. These are frigid temperatures. But it's not completely uncommon. Our crew has pulled a good amount of people out of the water, and every year they will pull people out of the water, whether it's kayakers that fall out of their kayaks, people that fall off the river walk.
We are waiting to hear how he is doing. Soon as we know, you'll know. All right, we'll see you over on WFLD for more as we continue coverage here on Fox News at 9.
TMZ, I'll just say it, has put out way too much information. I wish that they would be a little more circumspect in what they're talking about and what they release without first contacting law enforcement. But that's what happens when this information gets out like that. And it gets out broad. It causes everybody to talk about it and immediately identify this as a kidnapping. If I were the criminal and it was an abduction or something more sinister, and I wanted to divert law enforcement's attention, I would try to posit it as a kidnapping.
Yeah, so we did get a new statement in from the Pima County Sheriff's Department. I'll read this. Looks like we've got some new people joining. Let's just reset here. This is their latest investigation update that they sent out, and they just sent this out this evening. They say, good morning or good afternoon, media partners. The Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI continue to work jointly on this case. Our strong partnership is critical. We remain fully committed to this collaborative investigation to ensure consistency and streamlined testing. Evidence requiring forensic analysis is being sent to the same out-of-state lab that has been utilized since the beginning of this case. This decision was discussed with and agreed upon by local FBI leadership. Several gloves have been located during the investigation. The closest gloves were found approximately 2 miles from the home. Reports that a glove was found inside the residence or on the property are inaccurate. All collected evidence has been submitted for laboratory analysis. DNA, other than Nancy Guthrie's and those in close contact to her, has been collected from the property. Investigators are working to identify who it belongs to. We are not disclosing where that DNA was located. What is the significance of unidentified DNA being found in or around the scene?
It's potentially the second biggest break in the case after being able to recover the video from the destroyed Nest camera from Google and Nest's cloud. And so if that DNA does come back, as we discussed earlier, with a match, then that can be incredibly useful. But it can also be used, because it's in the home and they don't know the origin, to test against persons of interest when they have tips and establish a link between someone that they have other information might be their suspect and entry or presence in that home.
So I'm getting a good question here. Heath sending this in. Again, talking about the lab piece of this. You just heard in the statement from the authorities that they're sending the evidence that they're collecting to a lab, and it's the same lab that they've been working with. Last night, there was a little bit of reported tension, and it's sad to say because the focus of this investigation is obviously finding Nancy Guthrie, but some of the reports that came out last night were alluding to the FBI not exactly, or at least federal agents, not exactly being happy with the fact that some evidence might have been sent to a private lab instead of to the FBI. Heath asks, what are the differences between two labs like this? Do you get different results from something like an FBI lab versus a private lab, Eric?
No, I mean, all things being equal, the FBI lab, their forensic laboratory, is probably the best in brand across the world. That's what the FBI does, top tier. I don't know the local lab, how excellent it is, but I am sure that there are DNA experts there that know exactly what they're doing. Sometimes the difference can be time. You can get a more rapid test through the FBI lab, but not being able to compare apples to oranges between the two labs, it's kind of hard to form an opinion there. All things being equal, it would be faster and probably better to send to the FBI lab, but I was not part of this decision making, and I understand the grumbling that always happens with these sort of cases. What's critical is that the FBI and local law enforcement work together in tandem, because I've been saying for the last number of days, for the last 13 days, this is a mad sprint. While investigations often take time, you don't have time when someone's been abducted. because every day, every minute really matters. And so there's no time for shoving and pushing. And, the FBI and the sheriff's office have to work together because they need all that manpower to run down the thousands of leads that they have.
You know, I was reading and a lot of people online and a few news outlets, including Fox, have said that there was some movement from a SWAT truck, a mobile command center, to be specific. Is it worth tracking every little movement from every SWAT vehicle that might be in the area, or could something like that actually be fairly significant?
Well, look, if SWAT is moving, then it means that they typically have someone they're interested in. You don't send SWAT unless you are concerned that the individual could be armed and dangerous. But tracking every movement of every police vehicle can be incredibly frustrating. It's very typical that investigators don't tip their hand to the public or anyone else. This case has an abundance of information that's been presented to the public. Another commentator had a great idea that one reason for this might be because in a world of social media, so much information gets out there, and providing more information than you otherwise would can help prevent a lot of conspiracy theories from occurring, especially as the days tick by. But at the end of the day, the investigators are very careful to only provide information that they absolutely need to. And I think a lot of the information that we have seen is purposed in order to get the help from the public. You release that video because you want someone who might recognize that person. And it's amazing what you can recognize. You might say, oh, that's a guy dressed head to toe in a mask with gloves. But if you know him, you might say, wow, I recognize the way that person moves, the way he swung his arm, that look in his eyes. I know who that is. And that has worked in other cases, including most recently the Brown shooter case and the Charlie Kirk shooter case.
So let's get to a question from Paul. Paul has an interesting one. Are satellite images able to be investigated of that residence at or around the time of abduction? Is that type of technology feasible?
Yeah, that is a good question. And because we think that the FBI and law enforcement can do a lot of things that unfortunately they can't, and they certainly couldn't do when I was running around undercover. And one of those things is receive satellite image on demand. In order for those satellite images to be available, and a satellite would have to be
Today, they had
This
something to
is
do with
Fox
the feds.
32 News at 9.
Here we go. I'm Terrence Lee. Let's start here. Aurora had another student walkout today. Hundreds left class. Just a few days back, there was a bigger protest. That one got chaotic and police arrested some people. Leslie Moreno's right here. Leslie, the mayor's really concerned about safety.
Yeah, today's protest was much more peaceful. No altercations with police, no arrests. The mayor says he took a different approach this time following Monday's incident.
Hundreds of students walked out of class today in protest of ICE and the recent confrontation between Aurora police and 3 teens on Monday.
They came out of nowhere and just tackled me to the ground.
15-year-old Duviel Soto from East Aurora High School says he was one of 3 students that were tackled by police during Monday's walkout. He says he had to be rushed to the hospital with bruises and head injuries.
Went unconscious for a little bit, but when they put me on facing the ground, I got a little bit, I opened my eyes. And I told them get off me because I couldn't breathe at all. I couldn't breathe. I just woke up, and then they grabbed me. They put me back in the back of the van.
Police say fights broke out and the teens had to be arrested. One of them is also accused of punching an officer. During this morning's protest, the Aurora mayor says safety has been a major challenge. This time, he opted for a no police approach.
We had a conversation with the chief of police last night to have a withdrawn presence so they don't become the target of this. We want students to be focused on keeping ICE out of our community.
The Illinois state senator for the 25th district says she's requested a full investigation into Monday's altercation.
They are frustrated. They are scared. They are going through depression and anxiety, wondering if when they come home, if their parents are still going to be there.
The King County State's Attorney's Office says it's investigating the use of force during Monday's walkout. The mayor says he's also working on setting up a town hall to discuss safety during these protests.
And there were other walkouts today, too, not just the one in Aurora. They're really all over our area.
Yeah, all over from the city to the suburbs. We saw students Federal Plaza, Yorkville, Bolingbrook, Elmhurst, Kankakee, Lakeview. Students walking out, hundreds of them, again, with the same message. They want ICE out of their communities. And again, it was very peaceful all over, despite so many no arrests, no altercations. And from talking to organizers, it sounds like there are going to be possibly more in the near future, again, because we are still waiting to see if those charges against those 3 teens are dropped and what happens with that investigation.
I'm always interested, too, in why they pick certain days. How did they organize this, get this all together? Social media, I'm sure, played a big role.
Yeah, that's how they communicate with everyone. This one was actually planned 2 weeks ahead. So it just happened to fall 5 days after Monday's incident. But they've been planning this, and I'm sure they're planning more to come in the next few days.
Leslie, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, we got to talk about the mayor now. He just said nope to that hemp ban ordinance today. He vetoed it. So bottom line, hemp stays on shelves in Chicago for now. Well, look, there is a federal ban coming later this year. So this is not over, folks. The mayor even sent a letter to city council about that. He basically said, let's just wait and see what the feds decide before Chicago makes any moves. It is February, right? But isn't it giving like spring outside? I see you, Chicago. You pretty. Mark Stroh, what you got for us? More of this?
Yeah, feeling good, right? More of this right through the weekend and into the early part of this next week. Look at these daytime high temperatures today. We made it up into the 50s. Today we made it up to 54 at O'Hare, 53 at the lakefront, 54 degrees at Midway, 57 degrees in Ottawa today. A little bit cooler along the lakefront, but even those 46s at Benton Harbor and Michigan City are still well above our normal daytime highs. More of the same to come. I'll tell you about how much sunshine you see as well in a moment.
All right, you got to see this video. This is wild. The moment that guy fell in the Chicago River, people did not hesitate. Everyone moved fast. Shout out to the Citizen app for this video. Chicago Fire showed up fast with the boat. They were not playing around, but really it was a tour boat that came through and got him. He fell in from the Michigan Avenue Bridge right downtown. The company said their crew and some passengers helped pull him out of the water. He wasn't responding at first. Can you imagine? That's when one passenger who knew exactly what to do stepped in, started doing CPR. They brought him back right there on the boat, and then he headed to the hospital.
It is heroic. These are frigid temperatures, but it's not completely uncommon. Our crew has pulled a good amount of people out of the water, and every year they will pull people out of the water, whether it's kayakers that fall out of their kayaks, people that fall off the river walk.
We are still waiting to hear how he's doing. As soon as we know, you will know. Here's something else people are talking about tonight. A group of charter schools in Chicago could shut down before school's out. It's Aspira, 2 high schools plus an alternative one. Brett Baganti explains what's going on.
Aspira shared that they need $4.8 million to finish out the school year.
Vice President of the Chicago Teachers Union, Jackson Potter, gave that dire warning to the Chicago Board of Education Wednesday about Aspira of Illinois, a network of Chicago charter schools with 570 students in 2 high schools, as well as more students who attend its alternative school.
They've announced to the world that they're insolvent and have no legal plan to avoid closing their schools mid-year.
Aspira sent us a statement saying they're requesting more time and more money from CPS just so they could finish out the school year. And CPS got back to us saying while they're working collaboratively with Aspira, they said they've already given them 4 different advances just so they could make payroll and that the teachers get paid on time. And they also said it's ultimately up to Aspira to come up with their own financial plan.
That means that their schools could close, like Jackson said, by mid-March. You know, maybe there is a way to keep these schools open, but if there isn't, CPS has to create a plan to protect students.
The CPS third quarter ends March 6th. CPS board member Norma Rios Sierra urged the district to look into possible solutions to keep Aspira open for the rest of the school year or be ready for an influx of transfers in the spring.
But we've come to a space where the very real reality is that we are going possibly see a mid-year closure.
What would happen to you then?
It's a good question.
Gemma Fabrara teaches English and Latino literature at Antonia Pantoja High School, which is the alternative school in the charter network.
And at this point, honestly, I'm just taking it one day at a time.
While she plans to stay no matter what happens, she's worried about her students who are already vulnerable.
Will they go back to school? Will they just say, you know what, maybe this is a sign for me to not get my high school diploma? So I think for them, for me and for them, I think just that uncertainty, and hopefully that if it does come down to closing, that they're able to find success in another school. But that's not guaranteed.
Brett Pagansky, Fox Chicago.
So it's been about 2 weeks since Savannah Guthrie, from the Today Show's mom, Nancy, disappeared. President Trump talked to reporters about it, said they're making progress, but it's still not looking good. Now, police have a suspect description they're working with. Pima County Sheriff said something about the criticism his team's been getting on how they've handled this.
It's not even close to accurate. First of all, we don't hold information from anybody that's going to help us. Why would we do that? There are no egos here. This is all about finding Nancy.
The FBI is putting up $100,000 for any info that leads to an arrest in the case. I don't even think about leaving, okay? We are just getting started.
Business on the Hill, anything but dull this week as multiple hearings devolved into grade school shouting matches. I'm Alexandria Hoff in Washington. I'll have a look at that story coming up.
Rated
for the content of this ad.
We're looking live at the nation's capital. Not going to lie, been a lot going on in there this week. Our lawmakers inside talking it out, sometimes getting loud. Alexandria Huff's got the details on all that.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
They could have sold popcorn this month on Capitol Hill as one hearing after another looked less like legislative oversight and more like tapings of the Jerry Springer Show.
This is not a game, Secretary.
I'm Attorney General.
My apologies, I couldn't tell.
It all started last week when Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent testified in back-to-back sessions.
10 and 20 million immigrants.
Can you
Look
shut
at the
him
housing
up? And he won't be criminally investigated?
The president also made a big joke about you that I won't repeat, Senator Warren.
That was the
Oh, actually, I will. He said he had reservations.
Then Wednesday, Attorney General Pam Bondi was grilled by Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee over the Justice Department's handling of the Epstein files.
I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing.
Thursday, Minnesota AG Keith Ellison testified in the Senate Homeland Security Committee about a multi-billion-dollar fraud scheme uncovered in his state.
This is a theatrical performance.
This is the truth. This is what accountability looks like, of which you've had none. You helped fraudsters defraud your state and this government of $9 billion, and you got a fat campaign contribution out of it. You ought to be indicted.
True. Well,
that's the truth.
Bondi could be making a return trip soon as Democrats call for her to testify about alleged DOJ spying on members of Congress. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox Chicago. Terrence, back to you.
All right, Alexandra, thank you. We need a deep breath. After that, I got my heart rate racing a little bit, a little stressed out. Winter clocked out early, Mark Stroh.
Well, it's not.
Like, what's going on?
Just clocked out for a little while.
Okay, our vacation.
It will be
a little
back.
break.
Just a little pause.
A little siesta.
Yeah, but I got good news for you. Take a look at this map here. It's got red all over it, and that is the 7 to 14-day outlook. So here, follow my logic. Here we are. We're the 13th of February. Another 2 weeks takes us all the way to the end of February. Now we're really pretty much into March. And if we stay above average until we get to March, now we're starting to talk about winding down, at least the really cold stuff. You know, it snows around here in March and April, and it's even snowed in May, but at least we're getting towards light towards the end of the tunnel. 43 right now, south-southwest winds at 6, makes it feel like 39. Little patch of snow that's on the eastern side of the Great Lakes, not affecting us. A little rain down to our southwest. That'll move across central and southern Illinois largely tomorrow, but I think it's going to miss us completely. Tune in tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. I'll give you an update. Temperatures right now, 43 along the lakefront, 43 both of the airstrips, 39 degrees up the lake, 43 down the lake. Temperatures in the 30s inland. It gets a little colder inland tonight. 55 tomorrow, some sunshine in the morning, partly sunny skies. We're mixed with some clouds during the afternoon. 58, lots of sunshine on Sunday, 59 on Monday. Not too hard to envision some 60s around the neighborhood coming up over the next 72 hours. Here's a look at Futurecast. Fair skies here this evening. There's that rainfall that moves into southern and central Illinois. But look at this. Stays for the most part right south of Interstate 80 and then just moves on. We miss out on that. Tonight, your forecast down to 35 here in the city, a little cooler in the western and northwestern suburbs. Tomorrow, temperatures up to 55. Again, some sun, some clouds around. 7-day forecast staying mild, actually downright warm all the way through Monday. But even as we go through the rest of the 7-day forecast with 40s and a 50-degree reading in the 7-day forecast, those temperatures are all well above average.
And Monday, I think you just round up by one.
Just round up.
Yeah, round up. Thank you, Mark. 3 big names drop new tracks tonight, including a local DJ. And real quick, NASCAR's got the Daytona 500 coming up this Sunday. If you want to check it out, it'll be on Fox Chicago. Pre-race coverage starts at 11:30 local time. Come on back.